patra with water for Atman. Achman patra, Achman के लिए. So check the saman, Achman, for sipping of water and touching the limbs. Then the diya lamp with the wick and the ghee, everything set. The matchstick lighter to light the lamp. Camphor to introduce the fire into the Havan Kund. Then Sruva, ghee, samagri, and samidha, the pieces of wood sticks. So let's start with Gayatri Mantra chanting. सभी सीधे बैठेंगे. We'll sit down straight with the spine vertical, that is the back, the neck, and the head in one vertical line. So that when we chant Gayatri Mantra and other mantras, our voice is clear. Then keep the body totally relaxed from head to toe. Relax the sole, the heels, the muscles in the thighs, in the legs, in the hips. Relax the back, the stomach, the thorax, the lungs, the hands, shoulders, neck region, facial muscles, and no point of tension, especially between the eyebrows. Keep them relaxed, soft closing of the eyes. Deep inhale and exhale. And while exhaling, we'll chant the prime name of Ishvara God, Om, the omnipresent, present everywhere at all times, omniscient, knowledgeable of the past, present, and likely future occurrences, the all just, giving us the rewards for positive karmas and penalties for negative karmas, and the all merciful, always within us, inspiring us with the divine guidance to be virtuous, to be good at the level of our thoughts, our words, speech, and written, and physical actions. तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, पालन कर रहा है तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम। दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तो तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी स्थान। सृष्टि की वास्तु वास्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान। तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम, मांगते तेरी दया। ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। दाता हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः, तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। Join the palms together, slightly gently rub them, cover the eyes, and open the eyes slowly, gently below the palms, and feel the transfer of the energy to the facial muscles. Relax totally. Now we'll move for Ishvara Stuti Prarthana Upasana. Ishvara, God, Stuti, praise, Prarthana, prayer, Upasana, communion with God through meditation. Praising the qualities of God, which are all virtuous and noble, gradually will be imbibing the good qualities. It's just like when we say good things, we tend to adopt them in life. And the person who always thinks and says bad things tend to be bad in their actions. So that's why Stuti, praising God to be able to adopt the virtuous qualities and be virtuous in life. Prarthana, prayers, as we'll be saying in the mantra, Patireka Asit, the one and only governing this universe, the supreme ruler. We pray to him, but before prayers, we should adopt the attitude of Purusharth, put up 100% mental and physical efforts to attain our truthful desires. And Upasana, communion, meditation with Ishvara God, then we'll be able to catch the divine inspiration, the divine guidance within us. अथेश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थना उपासना मंत्र। ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परसुव, यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव। तू सर्वेश सकल सुखदाता, शुद्ध स्वरूप विधाता है। उसके कष्ट नष्ट हो जाते, शरण तेरी जो आता है। सारे दुर्गुण दुर्व्यसनों से हमको नाथ बचा लीजिए, मंगलमय गुण कर्म पदार्थ प्रेम सिंधु हमको दीजिए. So this prose form meaning of the mantra says, Sarvesh Sakal Sukhadata, the all blissful and giver of bliss. Shuddha Swarup Vedhata is the immaculate, no single trace of evil or pains and sorrows. Vidhata, the one who created, sustains the universe. उसके कष्ट नष्ट हो जाते शरण तेरी जो आता है. So all those who surrender themselves to the laws of the creation, the laws of Ishwar God, the guidance of Ishwar God, will stay away from ills and evils, because following the divine guidance, we already know what is right and what is wrong, and we can choose the right path. And by so doing, we'll stay away from evils, from pains and sufferings. With that divine inspiration, we'll imbibe within ourselves good qualities, and these good qualities will lead us to perform good actions, and these good actions will bring us happiness throughout our lives. Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patirekāsit Sadādhāra Prithivim Dhyamute Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. Just remember the one keyword there, Patirekasit. We recognize Ishwar God as the one and the only entity, as the supreme ruler of this universe, to whom we surrender ourselves and be in bhakti, that is, follow the guidance, the laws that Ishwar God has given to us in the Vedas and within us, the inner voice within us. Om ya atmada balada yasya vishwa upasate prashisham yasya deva yasya chayam ritam yasya mrityo kasmai devaya havisha vidhema. So this one says, Yasya chayam mritam yasya mrityu. Following the noble, the divine guidance of Ishwar God, doing righteous deeds, living a righteous life throughout, will be able to overcome the cycle of birth and death and attain Amrit, Mukti, Moksha, where we'll be within the eternal bliss of Ishwar God. ॐ यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैक इद्राजा बभूव य ईशे अस्य द्विपादश्चतुष्पादः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम. यः प्राणतो निमिषतो, He is the one who has created this whole universe with all the living species, and these are all the life forms, and we have a duty to care for all these life forms. Otherwise, we'll be dvipad, looking only after earth and calm, earning a living and enjoying, instead of being chatushpada, the quadrupeds, that is, walking on the path of dharma. Then righteous living, earning righteously, enjoying righteously, and then ultimately move into mukti, moksha. So this mantra teaches us without dharma, there is no mukti for us. Om ye nadyo rugra prithivi chadridha ye na swasta bhitam ye na naka yo antarikshe rajaso vimana kasmai devaya vesha vidhema. Yo antarikshe rajaso vimana describes the state of the soul in mukti, where will be free to travel on the energy of Ishwar God, like birds flying in the sky. Will be free to see the good things, all with the energy, with the power of Ishwar God, without needing the physical body. ॐ प्रजापते नत्वदेतान्यन्यो विश्वा जातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामास्ते जुहुमस्तन्नो अस्तु वायं स्याम पतयोरयीनाम्. Prajapati. We are all children of the Almighty Ishwar God, whom we recognize. In the verse it says, Tujhse bara na koi jag mein, sab mein tu hi samaya hai. Feeling the presence of Ishwar God within us as the Father and ultimate creator of this universe, and the one who pervades this universe, present everywhere in all a single atom and molecule, or even finer than that, at all times. Om Sano Bandhurjanita Savidhata Dhamani Veda Bhuvanani Vishwa Yatra Deva Amrita Manashana Stritiye Dhaman Adhyayanta. One word in this mantra is Bandhur Janita. Janita is the creator, and then Bandhu is also the sibling who remains with us. Ishwar God remains with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but not only during this lifetime, in our previous lifetimes, and in the forthcoming lives. And He's the one who will safeguard us during mukti and even during the dissolution of the universe. So remember our relationships with God. Being the creator, He's the father, mother, and etc., but also as a sibling, always prompting us, guiding us to the good things of life. Om Agnenaya Supatharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjuhurana Menu Bhuishthante Namauktim Vidhema. This mantra more or less repeats the prayer in the first mantra, praying to Ishwar God that we be free from evils, pains and sufferings, and then fill our mind with good thoughts, which will be translated as good words and good physical actions. Repetition is there just to remind us. It's not a question of repeating to get bored. No, it's a question of repetition to remind us of our objectives in life, to be virtuous, to be righteous in thoughts, in words, and in deeds. Iti Stuti Prathnopasna Prakaranam. Now we'll move to Archman, sipping of water. Take water in your right palm, sufficient just to go down up to the throat, to clear the throat for mantra part. The first two mantras, Amrito Pastaranamasi Swaha, Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha, praying to Ishwar God, Amrit, that the bliss of moksha, that the bliss of Ishwar be with us. Just like when we go to bed, we have a blanket below us and another blanket covering us. So we pray to Ishwar God that the bliss of Ishwar be with us all around, like the two blankets when we go to sleep. First, Archman. Om Amritopastaranamasi Swaha. Second, Archman. Take water again, please. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Third, Archman. Om Satyam Yashah Shrirmai Shri Shayatam Swaha. Wash your hands. Now take water in the left palm with the middle and ring finger of the right hand. We are going to touch various parts of the body, and it's always doing your right side first, then your left side. Praying to Ishwar God that will maintain purity of all these organs, like what is pure used in cleansing, will maintain purity of our organs. Water always is calm, and whatever be the troubles of flood, etc., when it reaches the lakes and seas, it's always calm. Water is all peaceful, and water symbolizes unity, because if we mix water from two vessels into a third vessel, there's no science which can separate that. So remember the few qualities, characteristics of water. We pledge to keep all these organs pure, peaceful, and ईश्वर से हम प्रार्थना करें जिन इंद्रियों को हम स्पर्श करने जा रहे हैं वो हमारे सुपथ सन्मार्ग पर चलने के लिए हमारे सहायक बने। ओम वांगमास्यस्तु ओम नसोर्मे प्राणोस्तु ओम अक्ष्णोर्मे चक्षुरस्तु ओम कर्णयोर्मे श्रोत्रमस्तु ओम बाहुर्मे बलमस्तु ओम उर्वोर्मा ओजोस्तु ओम अरिष्टानि मंगानि तनुस्तन्वा मे सन्तु। Agnyadhan, lighting of the lamp. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Now we'll be introducing the fire into the Havan Kund, the holy fire pot. Lighting of the kapoor, and at the end of the mantra, place it in the center of the Havan Kund. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Dyoreva Bhumna Prithiviva Varimna Tasyaste Prithivi Devaya Jani Prishthe Agni Mannada Mannadyaya Dadhe. The next mantra is Agni Samindhan mantra. To get the fire blazing, we'll put a few spoons of ghee on the fire during the mantra or at the end of the mantra. Om उद्भूत्य स्वाग्ने प्रतिजागृहि त्वमिष्टापूर्ते संसृजेथामयं च अस्मिन् सधस्ते अद्युत्तरस्मिन् विश्वे देवाय जमानश्च सीदत. Samidha dawn, 3 pieces of wood sticks, samidha, dipped in ghee. So the first samidha with this mantra. Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya sva. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Second samidha. We have 2 mantras here. It will be on the second swaha. Om samidhagnim duvasyata griterbordayata tithim asmin havya jotana swaha idamagne idam namama. Om susamidhaya shochishe gritam tivram jotana Agnaye Jatavedase Svaha. Idam Agnaye Jatavedase Idam Namama. Third Samhita. Om Tantva Samidbhirangiro Gritena Vardhayamasi Prihachochaya Vishtaya Svaha. Idam Agnaye Angirase Idam namama. Grit ahuti, panchagrit ahuti. It's one mantra, giving ahuti 5 times with the same mantra to get the fire blazing, because after that we'll be putting samagri. So the fire is blazing, will get the maximum effect, low carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, very minimal, and more of the essential oils from ghee and the herbs in the samagri spread into the atmosphere to sanitize the atmosphere, to sanitize our environment, as well as when we inhale those essential oils, it goes directly into our bloodstream through our lungs and boost our immunity, as well as wards off bacteria and viruses which are airborne in our environment. Om ghee kya hoti? Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha. Idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama. Om ayantadmatma jata vedaste nedyasva vardhasva chedda vardhaya चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसे नाम्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः. Now Jal Sechanam, sprinkling of water around the Havan Kund or the Diya, the first one on the east side. Om Adite Manyasva. Second one be on the west side. Om Anumate Manyasva. Third on the north side. Om Saraswatyanmanyasva. Then fourth would be on the four sides of the Havan Kund, proceeding from northeast, moving clockwise and ending to the northeast corner. Om Deva Savita Prasvayadyam Prasvayadyapatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharva Ketapo Ketanna Punatu Vachaspatir Vachanna Swadato. Aghara Vajyahuti Mantra. It's only ghee. The first one on the north side in stream form, northwest to northeast. Second would be on the southern side from southwest to southeast. Om Agnaye Svaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. South. Om Somaya Svaha Idam Somaya Idam Namama. Now center. Adya Bhaga Huti Mantra. Ghee, both ahutis in the center. Om Prajapataye Svaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Om Indraya Svaha Idam Indraya Idam Namama. Pratakal Homa Mantra. Pratakalina Ahuti. Ghee and Samagri, please. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Surya Svaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotir Varcha Svaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Svaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajurusha Sendravatya Jushana Suryavetu Swaha. Now, Sayankalina Ahuti, the mantras for the evening. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotiragni Svaha. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotir Varcha Svaha. Om Svaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajuratrandраvatya Jushanu Agnir Vetu Svaha. Now the mantras for Dainikiyas, Pratakal or Sayankal, दोनों समय के मंत्र, घी and सामग्री. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhuarvaive Panaya Svaha Idam Vaive Panaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Svaha Idam Adityaya Vyanaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurbhuvaswaragnivayu Pranapan Vyanabhya Svaha
इदम् अग्निवायवादितेभ्य प्राणपानव्यानेभ्य इदं नमः। ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोमृतं नमभूर्भुवः स्वरों स्वाहा। ॐ यं मेधां देवगणः पितरश्चोपासते तयामामद्य मेधयाग्निमेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा। ॐ विश्वानि देवः सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुव स्वाहा। ॐ अग्नेन यः सुपथाराय यस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुरानमेनो भूयिष्ठान्तेन मौक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा. So it's running Shravan Mas, the month of Shravan in the Hindu Vedic calendar. And during that month, it's dedicated to the study of the Vedas. Symbolically, we are going to chant, recite the mantras of the four Vedas, the first and last mantra of each Ved, and give ahuti with both ghee and samagri, with Gayatri mantra first. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. So mantra of the Rig Veda. The first mantra is Om Agnim Mile Purohitam Yajyasya Devamritwijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam Swaha. Last mantra of the Rig Veda. Om Samaniva Samaniva Kutiya Samana Hridayaniva Samanamastu vo mano yathava susahasati swa. First mantra of Yajurveda. Om Ishe Turje Tvavayavasthadevo Vah Savita Prarpayatu Shreshtatamaya Karmana Apyaya Dvamaganya Indraya Bhagam Prajavati Ranamivaya Kshama Mavastena Ishatamagashangso ध्रुवस्मिन् गोपतौ स्यात् बहविर्यजमानस्य पशून् पायि स्वाहा. Last mantra of Yajurved. Om Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapi Mukham Yosavaditye Purusha Sosavam Swa. Om Kham Brahma Swa. Now Samved, first mantra. Om Agnayahi Vitaye Grinano Havyadataye Nihota Satsibarhishi Swa. Last mantra of Samved. Om Swasti na Indro Vridharshava Swasti na Pusha Vishwaveda Swasti Nastaksharyo Arishthanemi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu Swa. First mantra of Atharva Ved. Om Ye Trishapta Pariyanti Vishwarupani Bibrata Vachaspatirbala Tesham Tanvo Adya Dadhatu Me Swa. Last mantra of Atharva Ved. Om Panayam Tadashvina Kritam Vam Rishabho Divo Rajasah Prithivya Sahasrashansa Utaye Gavishto Sarvo Itam Upayata Pibadhyai Swa. Gayatri mantra 3 times and 3 times Mahamrityunjay mantra. You'll be chanting along with me in one pace, one tone, and while chanting, feel the sound waves of your pronunciation and the vibrations within the sound waves of your pronunciation. ध्वनि और ध्वनि के तरंगे को अपने अंदर ग्रहण करने के लिए प्रयास करें. Just try to absorb those vibrations within you, feeling them, and feel the inner peace which builds as and when we chant these mantras. At the end, it will be Swaha with ahutis of both ghee and samagri. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Mahamrityunjay mantra. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva Vandanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva Vandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva Vandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat Swaha. Now, Swishtakrit Ahuti. If you have prasad, then it would be ahuti of prasad with ghee, otherwise it's only ghee. This is Swishtakrit Ahuti, praying to Ishwar God. इस यज्ञ कर्म में जो अधिक या न्यून किया है, आप कृपया बस मेरी शुभ इच्छाओं को पूर्ण न करने के लिए परमात्मा से प्रार्थना करते हैं. Whatever we have done, probably in excess or shortcomings, we pray to Ishwar God that He considers our faith, our good intentions in doing this yajna for the benefit of the whole world, and our truthful wishes be fulfilled with this yajna. Om yadasya karmanotyaririsham yadvyanyunmihakaram Agnishta Shrishta Kridvidyat Sarvam Swishtam Suhutam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishta Krite Suhutahute Sarvaprayashchitahutinam Kamanam Samardetre Sarvanah Kaman Samardhya Svaha. Idam Agnaye Shrishta Krite Idam Namama. One ahuti of ghee. Om Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Now ghee and samagri. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. So all is complete. Put everything down. Fold your hands, join your hands, praying with Mahavamdev Yagan for Sukh, Shanti, and Samriddhi. Sukh, happiness, Shanti, peace, Samriddhi, prosperity. ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः कयानश्चित्रा भुवदूति सदा वृदा सखा कयाशचेष्टया वृता ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तस्त्वा सत्यो मदानां मङ्गीष्ठो मत्सदन्धस हृदाचिदारुजेवसु ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः अभीशो नः सखीनामवीता चरित्रणां शतं भवस्युतये ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। यत् प्रार्थना धनंजय जी।
पूजनीय प्रभो हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए, छोड़ दें छल कपट को, मानसिक बल दीजिए। वेद की बोले ऋचाएं, सत्य को धारण करें। हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे, शोक सागर से तरें। अश्वमेधाधिक रचाए, यज्ञ पर उपकार को। धर्म मर्यादा चला कर, लाभ दे संसार को। नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहे। रोग पीड़ित विश्व के, संताप सब हरते रहे। भावना मिट जाए मन से, पाप अत्याचार की। कामनाएं पूर्ण होवे, यज्ञ से नर नार की। लाभकारी हो हवन हर, जीवधारी के लिए। वायु जल सर्वत्र हो, शुभ गंध को धारण किए। स्वार्थ भाव बीते हमारा, प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो। इदं न मम का सार्थक, प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। प्रेम रस में मग्न होकर, वंदना हम कर रहे। नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा, आपकी सब पर रहे। पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे, भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए। छोड़ दें छल कपट को, मानसिक बल दीजिए। प्रभु आत्मिक बल दीजिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् सबका भला करो भगवान सब पर दया करो दयावान सब पर कृपा करो हे महान सबका सब विधि हो कल्याण हे ईश सब सुखी हो कोई न हो दुखारी सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी सब भांति भाव देखे सन्मार्ग के पथिक हो दुखिया न कोई होवे सृष्टि में प्राणधारी हे नाथ सब सुखी हो कोई न हो दुखारी सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव
And now time for the blessings. Join the palms together. Close the eyes gently, feeling the presence of the divinity within us. And the blessings goes in the same path of the mantra Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Om Satya Santu Yajamanasya Kama Om Safala Santu Yajamanasya Kama Om Purna Santu Yajamanasya Kama. May the wishes of the Yajman be truthful, the truthful wishes of the Yajman be successful, and the truthful wishes of the Yajman be successful to the end, 100%. भगवान इस परिवार को सुख का सदा वरदान दो, ज्ञान की गंगा बहाकर शुद्ध वैदिक ज्ञान दो, निरोग होकर सब जिए शतवर्ष आयुष्मान हो, धन धान्य से पूरित सदा यश युक्त कीर्तिमान हो, पुत्र पौत्रादिक सभी बलवान हो, श्रीमान हो, विद्वान हो, मतिमान हो, धर्मात्मा धीमान हो. It says भगवान इस परिवार को सुख का सदा वरदान दो. It's all those who's joined this Yaj today are the Yaj Parivar, and taking the whole world again in the concept of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the world as one family, wishing well for all these. Janaki Ganga Bahakar, if we just put ourselves in silence, we'll be able to receive the divine knowledge. Nirog hokar sab jiye, it's the ardent wish and prayer, especially in these times of COVID, that all be in good health. Shatavarsh Ayushman ho, live 100 years and beyond. Dhan dhanya se purit sada yash yuk kirteman ho. Be always having plentiful of material and spiritual treasures. पुत्र पौत्रादिक सभी बलवान हो, श्रीमान हो, विद्वान हो, मतिमान हो, धर्मात्मा धीमान हो. So the sons, grandchildren, etc., all the kith and kin, be valorous, balavan ho, have full power, physical force, mental force. Shriman ho, earn name and fame with their good actions. Vidwan ho, have wisdom. Matiman ho, use that wisdom effectively. Dharmatma dhiman ho, be benevolent persons in the world. Om Swasti Swasti Swasti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste, everybody. So welcome everybody. Dhananjay ji, do the welcome please. Dhananjay ji, welcome Gilly.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly Satsang. Today Acharya ji has joined from the Mauritius. He is guiding us for today's Agnihotra and followed by Vedic sermon. We will have some bhajans today. I see Arun ji has joined today. He, or anybody else who want to have one bhajan today. Kamlesh ji, Pandita ji, अरुण जी.
हाँ जी, नमस्ते जी.
हाँ, आपका आज भजन होना चाहिए, बहुत दिनों बाद ज्वाइन किए हैं.
मैं ऑफिशियल भजन सिंगर हो गया अभी है.
हाँ.
ठीक है, मैं I'll start sharing my video.
Okay.
Can you guys see me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. सुख दुख दोनों रे हैं जी.
नहीं सब अच्छा है.
No, you may start please.
अच्छा, ओके. सुख दुख दोनों रहते जिसमें जीवन है वो गांव. कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव. ऊपर वाला पासा फेंके नीचे चलते दांव. कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव. सुख दुख दोनों रहते जिसमें जीवन है वो गांव. कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव. भले भी दिन आते जगत में, बुरे भी दिन आते. भले भी दिन आते जगत में, बुरे भी दिन आते. कड़वे मीठे फल कर्म के यहाँ सभी पाते. कभी सीधे कभी उल्टे पड़ते अजब समय के पांव. कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव. सुख दुख दोनों रहते जिसमें जीवन है वो गांव. कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव. क्या खुशियां क्या गम ये सब मिलते बारी बारी, क्या खुशियाँ क्या गम, ये सब मिलते बारी बारी, मालिक की मर्जी पे चलती ये दुनिया सारी, ध्यान से खेना जग नदियां में बंदे अपनी नाव, कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव, सुख दुख दोनों रहते जिसमें जीवन है वो गांव, कभी धूप कभी छांव, कभी धूप तो कभी छांव। नमस्ते जी।
Thank you, Arunji. Anybody else want to sing a bhajan today? Acharya ji.
Okay, Kamlesh ji.
जो बोले सो अभय, जो बोले सो अभय, जो बोले सो अभय, जो बोले सो अभय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, जो बोले सो अभय, जो बोले सो अभय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, जो वेद की शिक्षा में मनुष्य मन लगाएंगे, धर्मार्थ काम मोक्ष वो फल चार पाएंगे, जीवन हो शांति में, जीवन हो शांति में, वैदिक धर्म की जय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, जो बोले सो अभय, जो बोले सो अभय, वैदिक धर्म की जय, वैदिक धर्म की जय। बस इतना है, नहीं गाया। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Kamlesh ji. So let's sit down straight, bring the focus again. शरीर को बिल्कुल शिथिल करें. Keep the body relaxed. Deep inhale and exhale. While exhaling, chant Om. One short bhajan in the context of the month of Shravan, study of the Vedas. सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को, सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को। अविरोध रहे रिजु पंथ गए, अविरोध रहे रिजु पंथ गए। परिवार कहें वसुधा भर को, परिवार कहें वसुधा भर को। सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को। ध्रुव धर्म धरें पर दुख हरें, ध्रुव धर्म धरें पर दुख हरें। तन त्याग तरें भव सागर को, तन त्याग तरें भव सागर को। सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को। दिन फेर पिता वर दे सविता, दिन फेर पिता वर दे सविता। हम आर्य करें जगती भर को, हम आर्य कहें जगती भर को। सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को। सब वेद पढ़ें सुविचार बढ़ें, बल पाय चढ़ें नित्य ऊपर को। Atmiya Bandho, friends in soul, welcome everybody. In this month of Shravan, the name itself says Shravan, derived from Shravan, and derived from Shravan is the Shruti, the knowledge of the Vedas. That's why we lay emphasis on the reading of the Vedas, the study of the Vedas in this month. It's gone from the oral tradition, word of mouth. That was the tradition of chanting the Vedas, studying the Vedas. Guru Shishya Parampara, or the Rishi tradition, was like this till paper was created and everything was started to be put in writing. Let's have a close look today as on the Ishopanishad, which is basically the last chapter of the Yajurved, the 40th chapter of the Yajurved, and the message of the Bhagavad Gita given by Sri Krishna to Arjuna is the model on the Ishopanishad. The first mantra says, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridha kasya siddhanam. Ishavasyamidam. Isha refers to Ishwar God. And this is the word which has been, as we say, adulterated by others. Ishwara, Ish, and then you conclude the rest, which is commonly known as Ishu, but we refer to Ishu, Ishwara, Isha as Ishwar God. Vasyam Edam, the all-pervading, omnipresent, present everywhere at all times. And Ishwar is present everywhere at all times in the same sense as if you make a bowl of cotton and put it into water. What is within the cotton bowl and all around the cotton bowl? Ishwar God is within us and all around us. And second, the two entities remain separate. The cotton bowl doesn't dissolve in water, and Ishwar God हमसे घुलता मिलता नहीं है. It's two and different entities, each one with its characteristics. This is where people get confused and think of Ishwar and Jeev, the soul, as one entity, one being a part of the other. The simple example is a slice of melon is always melon. It doesn't become papaya, orange, or apple. If the soul was part of Ishwar God, it should have retained those divine righteous qualities. But unfortunately, Ishwar God never does wrong, but the soul goes wrong. So that is one proof that the soul is one entity, Ishwar is another entity, and Ishwar God only gives us the divine guidance. Walking the way is ours. Then it says, Tena tiktena bhunjita magridha kasya swiddhanam. So whatever actions we do, whatever desires we have, it should be free of greed. And we know the common saying of the world of today, there's sufficient in the world for every single living being, but there is not enough for the greed of a few. So this saying also goes into the same line. And one concept which comes to my mind here from yoga is the concept of aparigraha. One is asteya, never to take the properties or the belongings of others without the authorization of the owner. Second, aparigraha, don't accumulate more than sufficient. Otherwise, that will create a shortcoming for others. And we saw it at the start of this COVID pandemic. People rushed to the markets to buy stock probably for 6 months or 1 year, and there was a shortage for probably about 4 weeks or 6 weeks within the market till stocks were replenished. So it says, be conscious of Ishvara everywhere at all times. There is no single place we can say we are alone. So Ishvara God is always knows what we are doing and is there to give us the rewards of the good karmas and the penalties of the negative karmas in due time. As we say, it's only when the karmas mature that we get the rewards and the penalties. Second mantra says, Kurvanneveha karmani jiji vishechatam sama evam tvai nanyatheto asti na karma lipyate nare. So whatever karma we are doing, just to remember Ishvara God is watching upon us at the level of thoughts, at the level of our speech or writing and physical actions. So whatever we do, let's do it in the concept of na karma lipyate nare. Don't do it with any strings attached to it. Be selfless, be benevolent in all the actions that we do. And it's only benevolent actions that brings us closer and closer to the goal of life, mukti, moksha. The next mantra says, Asurya namate lokandhena tamasavrita tanste pratyapi gachanti yeke chatmahano jana. Asurya namate lokandhetam natamasavrita. Those who indulge in ignorance or in false knowledge or in half knowledge, they will go, because karma will be more negative at that level. And when the karmas are negative, the next birth are going to be downgraded. And if it's really worse, then we get born into the species that don't even know about sunlight. So that they are even debarred from the physical sunlight. Just imagine. It goes with the line of Yog Darshan saying, Jati sati mule tad vipaka, jatir ayu bhoga. According to our karma, to the balance that comes to our karma when we are departing this world, if it's 50 plus and 50 negative, we get the level of normal human being. If the level of positive karma is higher, we get the highest forms of life, where within the families we'll be able to live happily, both in terms of material and spiritual wealth. But if the negative karma takes precedence, it's higher than the positive karma, then we are going to lower forms of life. And to whatever species of life we are born in, jati ayu bhoga, as per the species, we are given ayu, the lifespan. And then bhoga, what are the things that we can enjoy from this world. The next mantra says, Anejadekam manaso javiyo nainad deva apnuvan purvamarshat tadhavato nanyate ti tishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadati. Anejadekam manaso. Remember, the man is the place where we do contemplation. And when we do contemplation, we are empowered to put the questions for and against and judge whatever be our thoughts, whatever be our words, and whatever be our deeds before we go into action, before we gear into action. Purva Marshat, then know that we have the capacity to gauge all our karma and act accordingly. The next mantra says, Tadde jati tannai jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. The next mantra says, Tadde jati tannai jati. Ishwar God seems to be moving at all places, but being omnipresent. Present everywhere at the same one and the same time and always. He doesn't need to move. Ishwar God doesn't need to move to gauge the actions of each and everybody, to take cognizance of that. It's we who think that Ishwar God needs to move. Unfortunately, the world today, we've got the tendency of saying that bhakti is only when we take a agarbatti or dhoop and do the arti and then it's finished. And then when we leave home, we've closed the home and Ishwar God is also closed there. So when we go out to the world, we can do whatever we want because Ishwar God is now confined to the house or to that particular place, as we say, the mandap. No, just bear in mind the concept that is enunciated in the Vedas from mantra 1 onwards. Ishwar God, omnipresent, sarva-vyapak, sarvajya, omniscient. We can escape the justice of the land, but we can't escape the divine justice. It's not a concept of being God-fearing. It's a concept of adopting God, as we said, Sano Bandhur Janita, as the closest sibling, guiding us, and bhakti is following that divine guidance. The next mantra says, Yastu sarvani bhutanyatman neva nupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vichikitsati. Sarva bhuteshu. Again, emphasis. Everywhere in this world. And this is the concept, this is the chapter in the Yajurveda defining some concepts of God and how we build our relationship with God. If we know God is everywhere at all times and is the bandhu, is the sakha, is the pita, mata, the creator, the father, the mother, and the sibling, the closest friend. So let's nurture that relationship. And if we nurture that relationship, the next mantra says, Yasmin sarvani bhutanyatmai va budvijanata tatra ko moha kaha shoka ekatvam anupashyatah. If we build that closest relationship with Ishwar God, we'll move to higher and higher spiritual levels. Whatever be the woes and worries of this world won't affect us. We'll stay out of moh and shok. Moh is the inordinate attachment to material things or other living beings. And shok is the pain and suffering when the closest and nearest, be it material treasures or persons, leave us. So it guides us to the way to be happy in life, which is ultimately the main purpose of the knowledge of the Vedas to us. The next mantra says, Sapariyaga chukramakayam asnaviram shuddham apapavedham kavir manishi paribhu sayam bhurtat bhurya tathatatyato arthan vyadadhat chashvatibhya samabhya. Remember God, Ishvara. Saparyaga chukramakayam snaviram shuddham apapavidham. Ishvara is not bound as the soul is bound with this body, with the nervous system, with the blood systems, with everything. Ishvara God is not bound with these. Though present inside us, Ishvara God is just as the water surrounding the cotton bowl, which I gave you as example in the first mantra. Sarva Vyapak is inside as well as outside, but Ghulta Milta nahi, it doesn't mingle. We are free to perform our karma. Shuddham Apapa Vidham, all immaculate, no single trace of any evil, and always guiding us to do good. Apapa Vidham, apapa, away from, always aloof from evil karma, negative karma. So just remember, had we been a slice of Ishwar God, we should also have held the same properties. Which properties? Chukramakaya masna viram, unbound in the physical form. And we all sing in the Aarti Bhajan, Tum ho ek agochar. Unbound by form. And then Shuddham Apapa Vidham. If the soul would have been part of Ishwar God, as we say, after this merge and become one with Ishwar God, it should have been on the same terms. Shuddha, immaculate, no single trace of evil or wrongdoing. Apapa Vidham. Unfortunately, we go astray. So that gives us the soul as one entity and Ishwar God as the second entity. The next one says, mantra says, Andhantama pravishanti ye sambhuti mupasate tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambhutyam rata. Sambhuti mupasate. जो जड़ वस्तुओं का पूजा करता है वो अविद्या अंधकार में है. Those who think of the limitations of this world as being God, confining God to one form or one particular shape. This is avidya, ignorance. It is contrary to the knowledge given to us by Ishwar God in the Vedas. And often we hear people say, Ye mera Ishta Dev hai. But the Vedas say, Andhantama pravishanti. If we think of other things Apart from God are the Ishtadev, the closest and nearest, dearest to us. So we are on the side of avidya. Let's move out of this. Anya devahu sambhavad anyahu ra sambhavat iti shushram dhiranam yenastadvicha chakshire. So dhiranam, let's be patient. Let's do yoga. Ultimately, when we reach samadhi, we'll realize God, we'll realize ourselves, our soul, being a separate entity from this body, because when this body dies, the soul continues its journey. Realizing Ishwar God always with us and realizing the effective use of Prakriti till there is life in this body. After life, that Prakriti is of no use to us. Then next mantra says, Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yenastadvedo bhayam saha vinashenam mrityu tirtva sambhutya mritamashnute. So once we overcome avidya, going on the path of yoga, what we'll do? We'll be also able to overcome mrityu and all the dukkha, all the pains and sufferings associated with mrityu. Move on to amritamashnute, move on to moksha, mukti, the bliss of Ishvara. But then the terms and conditions is to move out of avidya, andhakar, tamasoma, jyotirgamaya. Realize that prayer. It's not just lighting the lamps on Deepavali and say, tamasoma, jyotirgamaya. Tamasoma, jyotirgamaya is lighting the lamp of knowledge in our life daily. The next mantra says, Anya deva hurvidyaya, Anya dahura vidyaya, iti shushrum dhiranam ye nastats dvicha chakshire. It says, Vidya and avidya, know both of them. Vidya here means the spiritual knowledge and avidya is the worldly knowledge. And we tend to stick to worldly knowledge as the soul. As we say, if someone is well, has achieved well in the worldly knowledge, then we say, ye vidwan hai. No, he's knowledgeable, but then we need that second leg to complete the cycle of life, the spiritual knowledge, which is vidya. It's the same as para and apara vidya. So vidya is the paravidya, refers to that within this context, and avidya refers to the aparavidya. So knowing the interpretation of the Vedas also within the context, getting the word into the contextual meaning. The next mantra says, Vedyancha Vedyancha yastadvedo bhayam avidya mrityum tirtva vidya mritam ashnute. So avidya, crossing avidya, crossing the boundaries of the worldly knowledge, delving into the spiritual knowledge and applying both of them at the same time in the world. It's not that when we are earning, we just have to content ourselves with worldly knowledge. No, we have to be ethical. And this is where dharma comes into the game. Righteous living at all times. And this is vidya. And avidya is being skewed on artha and kam. Vidya is going on the path of dharma, artha, kama, to reach eventually amrit, and which is moksha, sukh, the bliss of Ishwar God. Then the next mantra says, Vayuranilam amritam mathedam bhasmantam shariram Om krato smara klibe smara kritam smara. So what happens with this body when it's finished? It's the main fastest way and cleanest way of returning it to the five elements, fire, water, space, earth, and air. It's by incineration. Vayunani bhasmantam shariram. Then the mantra says, Krato smara, klibe smara, kritam smara. Remember Ishwar God throughout your own life. Then at the end of the life, Ishwar ka naam yaad aayega. Then it won't be a problem to remember Ishwar at the last moment of our life. वरना दुनिया में हम क्या देखते हैं? We always see in this world, when somebody is about to die, the family just pushes in, recite Om, chant Om. And the person who has not chanted Om, he doesn't know the meaning of Om, he doesn't know the concept of Ishvara. How will he remember? Will he or she remember that? So it says, always do that. Om Krato Smara, remember Ishvara God as the closest and dearest bandhu sibling with us. Klibe Smara, Kritam Smara, remember the concepts of Ishvara and remember your karma. And when we remember our karma, we remember Ishvara, we've been doing right throughout life, so the end moment wouldn't be unhappy because we know we have built the base for the next future life, which would be better, or else if we've excelled in this current life, we'll move on to Mukti Moksha. Then next mantra says, Agnenaya Supatharaya Sman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyo Dhyasmad Juhuranameno Bhuishthante Namoktim Vidhema. Again, the guidance is there. Be always in the company of learned and elderly persons who will share their knowledge, who will share their life experiences, giving us that additional footage where we don't start with zero, we start probably 1 mile or 2 miles or 10 miles ahead. By avoiding the pitfalls where they've made mistakes, errors, or omissions, and taking the advantage of the good things that they've done, taking it as a launch pad for us to move ahead. Then and only then will be, as we say, we've got that additional footage and we can run fast to the goal. The last mantra of this Yajurved, last chapter or Ishopnishad says, Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham yo savaditye purusha so savaham om kham brahma. The gist of this last mantra says Om kham brahma. Remember Ishvara, he's the supreme, the almighty, the most powerful Sarvashaktiman. And if you want to imagine, just imagine as the sky, the space is spread all around us, we know it goes to infinity. Ishvara God is more than that. And when we know the concept of Ishvara, we know what are our duties as Jeev or souls during this life cycle, this human form of life. So let's tread on the teachings of the Vedas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So when the concept of the Ishvara God is well anchored within our mind, at least if we take it from the second principle of the Arya Samaj, which gives a highlight of the concept of the properties, characteristics of Ishvara God, and we know the limitations of the soul, and when we practice yoga, yam niyam asan pranayam pratyahar dharana samadhi, we are going to that level. And when we reach, ultimately, we start walking on the path of yama niyama, we are increasing the level of spirituality in our daily life. And that level of spirituality will make us a better human being who will deal with our own self in a better way, deal with our family in a better way, deal with our friends and relatives in a better way, and be a real human being on the edicts of Manurbhava Devyam Janam. Will become human on the righteous path of life, progressing to dharma, artha, kama, moksha, righteous living, righteous earnings, righteous enjoyment, and mukti, moksha. I just hope I've been able to make an overview of the Ishopanishad, or the last chapter of the Yajurveda, which is also the essence of the teachings of the Gita. And we can delve in that probably, if you want, on separate platform using the Zoom platform also, on another opportunity, if you so wish, that has provided you some insight and to be more humane in life, more, as we say, better person for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, and for the community, for the world at large. Thank you. Dhyan ke liye dhanyavad. One Om Jap. Om. सभी को सादर नमस्ते. Dhananjay ji, announcements.
We'll proceed with the Aarti.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहु में किसकी तुम बिन और न दूजा आस करूं मैं जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी कृपा करो भरता ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति किस विधि मिलूं दया मैं दो मुझको सुमति ओम जय जगदीश हरे दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ शरण पड़ा मैं तेरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे
Shanti Path. Acharya, you have to unmute.
Sorry. Let's move ahead for Shanti Path, pray for universal peace in the yoga meditative form, linking each word with the respective Shanti, with a sense of duty and responsibility that we have to be peaceful to all the elements of the universe. The luminous bodies, Prithvi, the earth, Abha, the waters, antariksha, the space, etc., etc. Be peaceful to all our environment, to all around us, living and non-living entities. Then and only then these will give us peace in return. Om Dyo Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Oshadhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. सभी को सादर नमस्ते. So let's keep it open now. If anybody has to give any views, opinion, or share any suggestions, so you can unmute yourself and give your comments and suggestions, please.
आचार्य जी लास्ट का लेक्चर बहुत अच्छा था. इसको I think it's okay to repeat it other times as well.
Yeah. So I just brushed over the Ishopanishad today.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, going into the details of it, it takes at least 1 hour, 1.5 hours just to talk on the Ishopanishad.
And it was really good. Thoda, you know, after every satsang.
Yeah. So I'll always also try to emphasize on the practical applications of this knowledge in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Acharya ji has one lecture tomorrow evening, practical on Yoga, Patanjali Yoga. So if you want to join tomorrow evening, 9 o'clock.
Acharya ji, what's on your background? Is it real or computer says banai hai background?
Yeah, real है जी. Real है. या वो ब्लू टैक है ना, उस तक की स्टफ उससे चिपकाया गया.
अच्छा.
वरना क्या होता है, बीच बीच में बोलना पड़ेगा कि वी आर टॉकिंग फ्रॉम हिंदू सेंटर अटलांटा.
मॉरिशस में हिंदू कल सेंटर ऑफ अटलांटा लगा है.
Yeah, because then when I'm addressing the audience, they know from where, from which organization I'm talking from.
हम लोग कृष्णवंतो विश्व मार्यम वाले हैं. विश्व को एक जरा समझते हैं ना.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you all next week. Thank you, everyone.
So we had in our midst Dr. Chandora, the founder and mentor of Atlanta, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple and the Hindu Center of Atlanta. We had also Vishuddhi Arya, the president of Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America. We had Kamlesh ji, Pandita Jasodhara ji, and Shruti ji from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, Dr. Chandora's internet had some problem, so he got disconnected. Dr. Chandora.
Yeah. And we got Arun ji from Alpharetta.
Coming, Atlanta.
Coming, yeah, Atlanta.
देखो मॉरिशस में जाके आपका सिटी भूल गए आचार्य जी.
ये खुद भी आचार्य जी, आप भी तो कमिंग में ही रहते हो, आप अपना ही सिटी भूल गए.
Yeah.
या हवा पानी में कुछ है मॉरिशस की.
Yeah, because ये तो आइलैंड है ना.
I know. नहीं, वैसे कमिंग तो विशुद्ध जी एक छोटा सा गांव है, तो वो इसलिए याद नहीं रहता।
ऐसा है जी, पानीपत और शामली से तो बड़ा ही है। जी चलिए, सबको नमस्ते जी, बहुत धन्यवाद। नाइस नाइस
नमस्ते जी।
प्रवचन जी, धन्यवाद जी, नमस्ते।
Namaste, everybody.